If you're my insurance adjuster watching this, I know I have this registered as a classic because it's a 69 and I only drive it 1,000 miles a year. That's still true, even though we got a little bit of body damage. I only drive it probably about 1,000 miles a year. It's just a really, really, really hard 1,000 miles. So don't drop me if you see me, my insurance adjuster. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Got the wild card here, back from 24-hour Hell and Back Challenge. Man, we had a blast. I went out there with Wildcard Senior, my dad. That's who's taught me, how to drive these beasts, both of them, since I was a little kid. And man, what a great time I had, especially to go experience that with my dad. That was just a life adventure that I'll just never forget. Hope to be able to do that with my son one day. But we had a blast. The group of people out there at the event was just phenomenal. I mean, some of the best people I've ever met in my life. Everybody was so nice, so helpful. When things went down, we can't really get into the nitty gritty of it yet until the first episode comes out, I believe in December. But everybody was so helpful whenever anything happened. Everybody was just right there to help. But man, what a trip. I mean, oh my gosh. Spent a little bit of extra time. Me and my dad ended up staying an extra day in Cedar City and just kind of messing around, checking out some local stuff. Then a couple days later, we went down to, stayed in Huracan, and hopefully I pronounced that right for all you local Utah guys and gals. We had the 33 with us, and went and drove that through Zion National Park. That was an absolute blast. Not really sure what the park looks like because, let me tell you, you can't see anything. How heavy that chopping channel is. The car is really hard to see out of. But we stopped and pulled around the side of the road a bunch. Got to see some really cool stuff. Saw a bighorn sheep running through there, which was really cool. And then we went out to Sand Hollow with Barnyard and Frog. And man, we beat the brakes off this old girl, literally. But I'll take you guys around, kind of show you some of the damage the Nastamando got. Let me tell you, she got beat up. After this trip, I'm going to announce we're going to do a full rebuild. This body got absolutely smoked. The frame is absolutely smoked. This is the original frame from '69, so this thing's old, and it has a lot of hard miles on it. Every time I go out now, I kind of chase cracks here and there. And so we're going to pick up a new chassis for it. I've already got another body, and we're going to rebuild it. Time to rebuild. So I'm going to keep it pretty similar to how it is. We're going to run the same drivetrain, maybe go to a high pinion for an axle. Obviously all new tube work, new suspension. It works really good how it's set up now, so we're going to keep it really similar, but still change a few things. But let me take you on a little walk around, show you some of the damage. All right, guys, we're gonna start here in the front. I messed up my favorite sticker, but we'll get a new one. But you can see the both front and rear diffs just took an absolute beating on this trip. Both front and rear diffs are leaking oil now. They were freshly sealed when I left. Take you back over to the rear diff. Ouch. See leaking oil out of the rear, and that thing's just beat the snot out of it. All right, guys. This is the worst of the damage, probably. Pictures and videos don't do this justice. This whole quarter panel was already smashed in by Mark, the original owner. They built this thing originally. He smashed it in Sand Hollow. Had like an inch of Bondo in it, which I knew about. He was very open with me when I bought the Jeep. And then I smashed it right back again at a 24-hour Hell and Back. And this thing just, I mean, you can see it's bad. Let me give you a close-up. She's thick. This whole side of the Jeep, I don't know if you can see how smashed in it is from here over. That's supposed to be straight. It's pretty bad. Ended up taking a pretty good hit on the other side as well. We started this off with the Jeep with 0 oil leaks, okay? None. I went through this thing, resealed it all. Now both front and rear diffs are leaking. I have a nasty, nasty transmission leak. Really hoping I didn't snap the case or crack the case. Took some pretty good hits over here too. But like I said, we started this trip off with 0 oil leaks, but even bigger, I left this trip with both doors opening and shutting. Now this door right here behind me on the passenger side won't open, and this one over here on the driver's side will not close. After we got some rest in and hung around Cedar City for a few days, like I said, we headed down to Huracan, and Jeep had a little bit of life left in her, so we gave her hell down at Sand Hollow. We went and ran joint effort, the fall-in, nasty half, and then TNT. And almost to the end of TNT, this happened.
So here we are at Sand Hollow. We're looking for the pink helmet because the last obstacle of the day up here, Wildcard decided to wedge himself in and absolutely grenade the front driveline. How do you feel about that, Wildcard?
Feeling like we should have called it after the last one. Things were going real smooth for us.
Yep, especially since you're out of toilet paper and beer. It's not a good situation to be in. Oh, look at what we found. Yeah, there we go. Pink helmet is on. Woohoo! But, you know, right now, we just want to get the hell out of here. You guys have a great evening. Bye.
That is my driveline. So, shout out to my buddy Kevin, KM Drivelines. Very strong shafts. This thing took an absolute beating. At 24 Hour and at Sand Hollow. Got into a real tight spot, fell down into a wedge. Jeep was in a bad spot, and I tried to front dig out of it. Had way too much stress on the front end, which I kind of knew I guess I had high hopes that nothing was going to snap. But man, the second I gave her a little bit of throttle to try to front dig up this wall, the driveline left the chat. So it just sheared that right off. I don't know if you guys can see that. Didn't break at the wheel, just the metal just couldn't hold it anymore. That's one of the downfalls that we'll probably be fixing on the rebuild is I got real tight clearances in here, so I can run a limited size shaft on the driveline. It's pretty small. I think this is 2 inch or 1 3/4 maybe, even. It's small. But she did good. Also blew out a brake line halfway through nasty half. Brake fluid everywhere. Got a lot of, well, this frame's going in the garbage, but a lot of the paint got all messed up from the brake fluid. Brand new PSC box fitting came loose, started squirting gear oil everywhere, or not gear oil, but power steering fluid. So I had a lot more problems there. Things just started going downhill. I think the nastamando was trying to tell me that she was just tired and needed a nap. So I didn't give this girl much of a break. But we had a damn good time, let me tell you. Huge shout out to Fab 801, Thomas. Man, hospitality bar was set high. He just treated everybody like family, opened up his shop doors, let us park our rigs in there, did a big old burnout, the 33 in there for everybody. And that thing got a beating too, man. We, I don't know how, I lost count of how many burnouts we did in that thing, and took people for rides down the road. And we mobbed that all over Utah. Had a blast in that. Almost raced an undercover cop, which we saw the next day. So if you're the undercover cop watching this in that dark cherry red Challenger in Cedar City, if you want to come over on my turf, one of these back roads, we can run them. I know a lot of you guys were guessing what wheels I was going to run, and let me show you. You probably already saw a photo on Instagram, but I got a set of 20-inch KMC grenades. They held up phenomenal, very, very strong. We probably weren't, 2 minutes into the trail, and specifically this wheel, I was up on a rock and slipped off the rock, and it's kind of a sharp, pointy rock, and it fell in the wheel here, and then just like around that beadlock ring like hamburger meat. So it was good to kind of get the brutal beating of the wheels out of the way right off the start. Wrap those with some 42-inch reds. And man, let me tell you, the traction with these tires is, wow. This thing just hooked up, especially at Sand Hollow too. It just climbed a lot of those obstacles like nothing. For the trip, I got the Roto Packs mounted back here, got the ARB fridge, got my Milwaukee pack outs and my power tank. All that gear came in clutch during the trip. All right, guys, kind of give you the big overview. The nastamando got the absolute crap beat out of it. Like I said, I didn't have any oil leaks when I left. I think everything's leaking oil now. The training's leaking super, super bad. I'm really hoping I didn't crack the case or something like that. Got a broken driveline we got to address, but between 24-hour hell and back and then Sand Hollow, I think the nastamando's finally just throwing in the towel. It's a stock frame from '69. She's been beat up, she's been ridden hard. She's had a hard life, this frame and the Jeep itself. But the body's super twisted now. The frame's probably bent. I got a couple new cracks in the frame. And so we're just gonna do a full rebuild instead of trying to fix any of that. I've got a friend that has a Art Morrison chassis. It was all mandrel bent by Art Morrison. It's got an 8-inch kick in the rear, an 8.5-inch kick in the front. I've got a whole other Jeepster at my parents' house. Shout out to mom and dad for the free storage. I hope it's free. So we're gonna use that body, the new frame. I'll probably build a similar hood and grill setup like that's on this. Drivetrain's gonna stay the same. Front axle I'm thinking about changing because this is a low pinion. I'd like to go to a high pinion. Geometry, the suspension's gonna stay relatively the same. We're gonna change a couple things. Probably get rid of the wishbone in the rear and go to a 4-link. If you guys have suggestions or something I should try, leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys think I should do this thing next or what I should change on the next build. As long as you don't tell me to paint it, because it's going to be green again, because that's the best color. Yeah, guys, we had a blast, absolute blast. That was a once-in-a-lifetime trip for me and my dad to take together. We just had such a good time. Like I said, everybody was so nice. Really hoping that the Flex Rocks and Rollovers and all the other guys that were there invite me back for some more wheeling with all of them, because we'd be more than happy to go. No matter where it's at, I'll drive wherever. I don't care. I'm always up for an adventure, always down for a good time. So, all right, guys, if you can think of, like I said, I'm open to suggestions. If you guys can think of anything that we should do to the nastamando, or if you have questions about body damage, parts, whatever, leave it in the comments or send me a message, and I'm more than happy to chat with you guys. So I can't wait for you to see the footage, and we'll see you on the next video.